Hello, my name is Jay, and this is my first mod tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to modify the Nerf Nite Finder single shot blaster. I have already modded this one. I have added another spring, I've taken out the air compressor, and I have added a stronger spring to the trigger catch. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and show you what it looks like on the inside. All the screws are removed. Now, most of the time, the Nerf blasters are pretty easy to take apart. They, you just put one finger like on the trigger and you just pull up, and it'll open right up for you. However, if you are having trouble opening the blaster itself, use a flathead screwdriver and gently pry it open. That works really well. So inside, we have a direct plunger system. We also have some wiring in here for the light that goes on there. Place for 2 AA batteries. So I'm going to show you what I did to mod mine. There are 2 screws inside here that hold the plunger system in place. I'm going to go ahead and take those out and set them over here to mark them as internal screws. And so here's what I did. I did a few things. So first thing I'm going to tell you how to do is how to get that pesky air restrictor out. Now what I did is I went through from the front first. It's going to have a little stick thing in it. And what I did is I went in with the flathead screwdriver. I kind of popped the little supports on it out, and then took my handy dandy Leatherman here, and with the pliers, just kind of went in, grabbed it, pulled it out. Now, it's set up kind of funky inside. There used to be like a big plastic circle there, and so I had to slowly drill through with the knife from my Leatherman. Now, if you have a drill bit, that makes things a hell of a lot easier, but, I don't have a drill bit, so I use my knife. So it takes a while, but, you just got to keep at it, and once you get it clear enough, you can get through and actually remove the spring, and alternating between the Leatherman and a flathead screwdriver will actually allow you to break apart the 3-prong piece that pretty much makes up the air restrictor in there, and you could just take that out. It just takes a little practice. You really want to get a pretty clear hole in there, and the darts work just fine. I don't know if you can see, but I actually marked mine up a little bit with the knife. The darts still fly just fine. The next thing I did was I had a broken down Maverick, so I took the spring out of that. I unscrewed this part right here, removed the plunger head, put the Maverick spring underneath the stock spring. So basically I just added 2 springs. And then the other thing I did is I actually took a trigger catch spring from one of the larger guns. This could probably either be from my Raider or my Alpha Trooper, and I put it on this one. And it's a little hard to get into place, but it works really, really well. And if you happen to have some grease, like I have silicone grease, it comes with some of the mod kits I ordered. It works really well. You grease up the plunger head a little, and you grease up the inside of the tube. Put them together. They slide around nicely. Now, one of the other things you can do if you really want to is you can pad the plunger tube. I don't do that. This was like $9. You just buy another one if you break something, or hot glue it back together. I mean, it's really not that expensive as far as this goes. So once you've added a spring, or if you don't want to add a spring, you just take out the air restrictor. That's fine too. That still gives you a lot more power than just stock. What you do is you put it back in the gun. Okay. Screw in there. Hold on a sec. Alright. Now, what you want to do is you want to have the springs on this side right here. There's a little plastic wall, and you want to make sure those springs are on that side. It doesn't matter right now if the trigger catch is in place. You just want those springs on the other side of that wall. So it's okay to push the screw in a little bit to get it started. You want to, if you have added another spring, it's going to be a little more difficult to put the plunger back. So you're going to have to muscle it in a little bit to hold it in place while you screw it. So, see, I got the screw in there, and once you get one screw in, it becomes a lot easier. Screw that down nice and tight, lock it in place, get the other screw in there. The other screw will be a lot easier now. Now, it's really up to you whether you want this little barrel on there. It's not really vital. I have mine on there. I forgot. My friend and I bought one at the same time, and I forgot to put his back on. So, but it makes it easier to tell ours apart now because I have mine on and he doesn't. So, and he didn't care. So, it's all good. Now, if you don't have a Maverick spring, I actually have an old Nerf Firefly that I took apart, and it's a smaller spring, and it's about roughly the same size as a stock spring for the Nite Finder, width-wise. So I actually kind of interwove the two for his Nite Finder, and it functions just fine. You know, get creative. I mean, if you want to add more power, that's, you know, it's all up to you. All right. Now, the trigger catch, what you want to do is you can you know, pull the tube out a little bit, the plunger out a little bit to help you muscle this trigger catch back in. It's kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. If you need to, you can use like a flathead screwdriver to help you muscle in the spring. But that's what it looks like with the spring addition, air restrictor removal, grease up, and the added longer trigger catch spring. So I'm going to put it back together, and make sure you also have, like, if you want to put attachments on top of this, make sure you have that little clip thing, because these things are a pain in the butt to try and find, and if you lose them, you know, you can't really attach much to your guns. Whoop, see, there it goes. So I will put the gun back together, and I will fire it, and that'll be that. So one more thing I want to say before I put it completely back together. There is a little metal piece right in here, right where the battery hatch goes. And if you don't have that metal piece, your battery hatch is not going to screw on. And actually, looking at this, I wonder. No, it doesn't quite fit a dart in it. It's a little too big a space. That would have been kind of cool, actually, to have an extra little dart holder space like they do on some of the bigger guns. But guess not. Yeah, so anyways, if you are messing around with it and something flies out, you hear a little clink on the ground or something, make sure you find that if you want to have the battery case cover go on correctly and stay on. Otherwise, it's not going to stay on at all, and your little blinky light thing won't work. So I've just finished putting back together the body of the Nite Finder, and I'm about to reinstall the batteries. Now, you're gonna have to take this off if you want to get into the internals of your Nite Finder. I'd recommend it be the first thing that you actually remove from the gun as far as screws go. This should be the first thing you unscrew, and the last thing you screw back in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now, the great thing about this is that it can shoot actually a wide variety of darts. It can shoot streamlines, elites, it can shoot whistler darts, and it can shoot suction cups. So, listen to that. That sounds a lot heftier, and it's really quite incredible how good the range is with it. And I actually have not a very good idea as to how much actually the combined power of my springs are. I don't know what the weight of the springs are, but I'd say it's probably equivalent to maybe a 5 kilogram spring. So this little thing is packing quite a lot of heat. So the other thing that I want to address, especially as far as getting rid of the air restrictor goes, if you're going to be using a drill with a long drill bit, you have to be wearing safety goggles. Safety, safety, safety. It is very important. You do not want to hurt yourself over, something like this. And because there's the spring inside the air restrictor, you're going to want to be really, really careful with using a drill. Safety goggles. If you're not feeling confident, have someone who is confident do it for you. Or use a knife and a screwdriver. It takes longer. It's kind of messy, but it works. Work with what you got. Just a few more things I want to point out about this gun. Once you modify it, I would not recommend dry firing. That's really the quickest way to damage the internals of the gun. It's really not good for it. If you have it cocked back like I do now and you don't want to dry fire it, you pull back on it, pull the trigger, and release it slowly. And the other thing is that this is a very, very good gun for anything. If you're doing black powder rules where you can only load one bullet at a time, this is the ideal weapon. So I really like it. I think it's good. I mean, for $9, you really get a good deal with this. A little bit of work, you make it a really good gun. Alright guys, I'm Jay, and this was my first how-to mod video. Thanks for watching.